see the tail wagging? Good evening, everyone. Just giving a second for everyone to get on. There we are. Welcome to our Meet the Experts or Meet the Team evening. We're going to start with some tips and presentation from the doulas that are here this evening. And then we will go into some breakout rooms. Let's see if I can get my slideshow working. Love technology. Babies are so much more fun. So for tonight, we're going to be talking about tips for primarily the first 3 days postpartum. Have a chance to meet each of our teams speaking and then an opportunity to meet them in the breakout rooms. Feel free to pop in the chat with any questions you may have, and especially if you are planning to stay for the breakout rooms so we can prepare that ahead of time. And then we will get started with our evening. So I'm going to start. My name is Amanda Kennedy. I am a postpartum doula with Helping Hands. I'm going to start us off with a bit more of a practical side of things and something to prepare for those first 3 days postpartum, or that first week or 2 to 3 weeks. When we're thinking about birth, we do a lot of thinking about who do I need to get in touch with and who needs to know and all of that planning. But we need to plan for those first few days postpartum as well. And sometimes in those situations, it can be really challenging to find the resources that we need to help us adjust to life as new parents or adding a new little one to an already growing family. And it's great to have some different people contact lists kind of made for ourselves ahead of time. So at the top of my list that I have here is your doula. They're a great person. You need to know how to get in touch with them. If you're working with us, who to email and contact. If you have another doula or other support person, what their email, what their phone numbers are. And doulas are great in the sense that they will connect you with a lot of the other resources that you need, and you don't really have to think about the rest of the list in some ways, especially on the professional side of things. But some people that are great to also have on your list, top of the list, whether you are breastfeeding or formula feeding or combination feeding, is a lactation consultant. They are worth their weight in gold, and someone that you connect with and trust their opinions and advice will come in very handy in those first few critical days of adjusting to feedings and newborn life. Telehealth, make sure you know where that number is. Sometimes they can help us out of a panic. Sometimes they can help us out of an important situation, but a really good number to have on hand. Your pediatrician's number, who you're going to contact for any questions around maternal recovery, whether you're reaching out to labor and delivery, your obstetrician, family doctor, midwife, having all of those numbers on hand. Recovery is an important stage, and there's a lot of questions we have, and having a professional to connect with over and above our doula and other people who are supporting us is great to have those contacts on hand. Some people who are great to support us around baby care. An osteopath is a great person to have on our list, a chiropractor. And then another big one for both parents is mental health care providers. So who's going to be helping us through identifying any major concerns, just adjusting to life. We have some great resources we can connect people with, but in particular, there's places like Postpartum Support International, Women's College Hospital, Mount Sinai, the Well Parents Center. There are a multitude of resources on the internet, but when we're in the thick of it trying to find things, it's harder to dig through it. So having your doula be able to refer people that they know have worked for other clients, or having people that you've researched ahead of time that you feel comfortable with can be really valuable. Over and above those professionals to have on your list are your friends and family support, and knowing which ones you're going to reach out to for what needs. So who is really great at rolling in and prepping some meals and getting food on the table for you. Who's going to roll in and just want to hold the baby? That might be great if they're willing to let you nap. If they're willing to do it only if you sit and visit with them, we're going to save them for later visits. Who do we need for an older sibling? Who's going to come look after them? Who's going to come help us fold laundry? Who's going to look after our dishes for us? Who's going to take our dog for a walk? What are we doing with our pets? Where are they going? Who's supporting them so that we can get those breaks and be able to rest, recover, and bond with our new little one? So that's not a comprehensive, but hopefully a decent list of providers and people to think about to have on your contact list. And having those typically in the support partner's hands it's going to be a much easier way to reach out and connect, and taking that burden off of the birthing parents so they can still be recovering. That's my tidbit. I am going to pass it on to Heidi.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The first 3 days are so special. And what I just wanted to share with you is how special they are, and what makes them that way. So one of the most important things that happens in those early days is bonding. It's this time for you to get to know your baby and get to know each other as parents, for your little family unit to just quietly watch each other and observe your newborn, because that's how you're going to learn your baby's language. So bonding is so powerful, and in these early days, we encourage you to spend as much time as you can, both parents, skin to skin with your baby, because we know that it's so healthy for their heart rates, for their temperatures, for the experience of learning their cues. And so bonding makes this time really precious. It's also a time of healing and processing, the enormous, intense experience of birth for all of you, actually, for the birthing parent, for the support parent, and for the infant. It really is a time where you may not think that you need to heal because you've had a very simple, uncomplicated birth experience, but it's still so emotionally raw as you go into these days. So the other thing that's important to remember about what makes these first days so special is that they're learning days too. So nothing taking care of baby is going to be completely easy and just roll off your fingertips. Everything is going to take a little bit longer than you expect, whether that's feeding baby, changing, just dressing them. Everything is a learning process for both you and your child. And so that's why these days are precious and they're challenging. I know other doulas are going to talk about the sheer physical exhaustion of these days, but what I want to just encourage is you to protect them. So what I mean by protect is choose very carefully, just as Amanda had said, who is going to be allowed into these special days. And talk about it in advance. The way that you can protect it is to have open, frank discussions with each other, with family or friends that say that they want to come, and just decide, exactly as Amanda said, who would be the most helpful person to, make us some meals, or we can ask them to do favors for us, or they won't get hurt if we say it doesn't work. And have the conversations with those people in advance too. Make lists of things that you will need to have done so that your visitors can be helpful to you, not that you're taking care of other people when it's already such an enormous upheaval in your life of looking after a new infant. So be honest about who you want to be there and what you would like them to do for you. And just push off the parties and the big, huge gatherings for a few days is my tip and my recommendation. But most importantly, just listen to yourself. Some people are totally ready and feel energized by the, family coming together. So it's a time that you will choose to experience the way that you want. But it is a special, special time, and I hope that you plan ahead to make it that way. So I'm going to pass it on to the next doula, and I'm not sure if she's here. Okay.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to talk about expectations. So when you're expecting a baby, there's a lot to prepare for, and maybe you're doing all the reading and researching about different scenarios, and it's totally normal to have expectations about those first few days with your newborn. But it's also important to remember that every experience is unique, and so it's important to be open and flexible to what's going to happen. And it's good to have a positive mindset, and it's also important to be prepared for the unexpected. And the recovery period can be unpredictable. Your body is going through a lot of changes, and it's very important to give yourself grace and time to adjust, to recover. And there are also a lot of emotions you might feel. There's a lot of joy. There's also, you can be very tired, maybe. And there are hormonal changes that affect your mood, and you don't know how your body's reacting or recovering. And also your newborn is adjusting to life outside of the womb. So it's a new journey for the whole family. There are feeding schedules and different sleep patterns, and yes, and it's also normal to feel unsure about things, to be unsure about how to handle those challenges. And so I just want you to remember that it's okay to not have all the answers right away, and also to reach out for help, as Heidi and Amanda already mentioned. And yeah, just don't put too much pressure on yourself to meet specific expectations, and just focus on this new chapter and enjoy your baby. And yeah, that's my part, and I pass it on to Jessica.
Sorry, bear with me. I'm doing this on my phone. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about, excuse me, food preparation and nourishing yourself in the first few days after you've come home with your baby. I think one of the main things that most people can do is have snacks available at the ready ahead of time. Even if you don't love cooking or that's not your thing, I would highly recommend having, whether it's you go to Costco and get a bunch of granola bars, and you have some cut up fruits and veggies with hummus and dips and just things that are easy for you to prepare at the end of your pregnancy. There's a lot of talk about doing freezer meals, and that can be something that for some people is very exciting and accessible and easy to do in the end of pregnancy. Not everybody likes to cook. Not everyone has a ton of deep freezer space. We live in small spaces in the city. Depending on what your living situation is, that might not be within reach for you. But if it is, definitely do so. Not everyone has a ton of time at the end. Some people work right up till the end. Sometimes your baby comes early. So you do as best as you can to have nice meals prepared for yourself ahead. But knowing that sometimes those things aren't possible, do the easiest thing that you can manage, that, as at the end, as I think most people have discussed already, like the unpredictable can happen and we run out of time or whatever. So just healthy, fresh stuff that you know you're gonna like, you know, and maybe it's a bunch of yogurt containers, like whatever. It doesn't have to be complicated. Things that you can reach for easily. So that would be the first thing. And then Amanda kind of talked about this a little bit, like people want to help, but sometimes they don't know how. So if you have people in your life that you know are excellent cooks or that enjoy cooking and preparing food, call on them to bring a dish. Or even if you know something specific that, you know, I love that soup that you make. Do you mind? Could you bring it in the days before or following the baby coming home? Set up a time or whatever. And then that's like a bit more direct, and some people may not feel comfortable doing that. So my next suggestion, which is I think a super underutilized resource, in my opinion, the meal train. So a lot of people will have baby showers ahead of time, where, you know, you maybe receive gifts or cash gifts or gift cards, and you can tack on or just do a meal train. So it's a website called mealtrain.com, and it's very, very well done. You can invite your family, your friends, colleagues, like invite everyone, invite as many people to participate as you can think of. And you can specify, you know, if you have any dietary restrictions, if there's any particular meals that you enjoy, to give people ideas. And people can sign up and choose a date that they can bring you a dish to your door on a set time. And, you know, recommendations from a doula would be get your support partner to be the contact number. And also say on the website, like on your page, specify, you know, you can drop it off, but we are actually not taking visitors on that day. And we'll reach out when we're ready to talk and have you meet the baby, but this is really just how you can help. Get a friend to organize the meal train for you, you know, to set it up and arrange. If anyone needs help figuring it out, they can be contacted in place of yourself. So this is more than 3 days, right? Like you can prep for the first 3 days, but then feeding yourself, we're talking weeks, is super important. And let's not undervalue the importance of nourishment and how that trickles down to mental health and physical recovery and all of that stuff. So above and beyond gifts and things like that, prioritize your food if you can. I'm sorry, have we completed is it Sharon next? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. So I'm just going to mention a few things. A lot of the girls have already covered a lot of the points that I think are super important, but I wanted to talk about self-care and exhaustion. So from the self-care point of view, a lot of times as the birth parent, you know, you're so focused on the baby and thinking about the baby that you forget about yourself. And what I try and tell the new parents, that especially the new mom, is that this family needs you. You are the center of the universe, and we need you to stay healthy and strong and think of yourself as well. Like, don't put everything else first. You have to come first. So little tips and tricks that I give to the new parents is, first of all, a lot of times the birth parent will be a little bit uncomfortable if she's been pushing a lot, if she's got some stitches. So using a peri bottle, a sitz bath, anything that is comforting, padsicles, a pillow. There's actual pillows made for people with stitches or hemorrhoids. All these things are normal, and we don't always think about them till the last minute. And then mom gets home and she's so uncomfortable. So maybe thinking of these things ahead of time, having your meds ready, take your meds on time, work with a tracker, keep track of, your next meds and really keep on it. So important. Like the girls have said, hydrating and nourishment. Every time you feed the baby, try and have a little snack. You may not be feeling too hungry, but just remember, if you're running on empty, so is your milk supply. So we want it to be as rich and healthy as possible. So little snacks of fruits, cheese, vegetables, nuts, anything that you can have little snacks while you're feeding the baby is going to be very beneficial to you and the baby. Do things that you find relaxing. You've just been through a very intense time in your life. So find things that you find relaxing, your favorite music, get lots of rest, have a shower, things that you find, if you like aromatherapy, all these kinds of things really do help you in the recovery. And the first 3 to 7 days is super, super important for your recovery. You really need to rest. When the baby sleeps, moms should sleep. And we need to remember too that mom's running on hormones. So as much as you are exhausted, the hormones are helping you through this time to get through the first few weeks of very little sleep. But our support parent doesn't always have that same hormone reserve, and they're exhausted too. And a lot of times our birth parent is a little bit disappointed that that the support parent is resting when they are not. So we have to understand they need their time to recover too. And if the support parent rests when mom is up, then they can take care of the baby and give mom a break for some sleep. So just be very prepared for the exhaustion. I've not gone to one family where they said, "Oh, this is easy. I thought I'd be more tired." Everybody says they are so tired. They were not prepared for this. So just understand it's normal. It's natural. You're running on hormones. You're running on empty. And that affects you in so many ways. So if you're prepared for it, it's less likely to have a negative impact on you. Try and rest, bond with this baby. Like the ladies have said, skin to skin is your friend. Just snuggle that little pumpkin as much as you can, smell them, kiss them, sing to them. This is your time to really be close together. If you're afraid to co-sleep, only sleep with the baby when your partner's in the room watching so that you can rest and have the baby possibly sleeping on you. But this is a really important time for you to get your strength back so that everybody in the family is going to do well in the next month or so. So you have to give yourself this time. The first 3 days are crucial. Please, please, please treat yourself well. Don't be doing laundry. Don't be cleaning the house. Don't be worrying about anything except you, the baby, and the support parent having this quality time to get your sleep, get your strength, and spend some time together. That's my tips for tonight, and I appreciate everybody coming, and I look forward to seeing everyone in the breakout rooms, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you everyone for such great advice.